I still remember the chaos in my yard back in 2010 like it was yesterday. My Husky had given birth to a litter of 7 puppies, turning my house in Anchorage, Alaska, into a snowy mess. As a 42-year-old mechanic taking 3 weeks off work just to keep them fed, cleaned, and alive, I stood outside every morning around 4 a.m. letting them tumble around in the fresh powder while I sipped coffee and tried not to freeze. My neighbor Linda would come over sometimes and laugh at the mess, calling it Puppy Winter Wonderland. One morning, when the puppies were about 6 weeks old, she said her daughter Emma wanted one. I told her if Emma wanted a puppy, she had to come ask me herself. The next morning, there was a knock on my porch. Emma was standing there, a skinny 14-year-old girl with braids, hands shaking, trying hard to look brave. I told her to sit down and ask what she wanted. She asked how much the puppies cost. I said $650. Her face dropped, but she stayed put. She looked at the floor for a second, then said she wanted the one with the blue eyes anyway. She said she'd name her Luna. She said she didn't have any money yet, but she'd get a job, make payments, and be her best friend for life. I didn't buy it. I'd seen kids fall in love with a puppy and lose interest the second it got hard. So I gave her a test. I told her she had 4 weeks to bring me $400 cash. If she did that, she could take home Luna and pay me $100 every week until she hit $650. If she missed one payment by even one day, I'd take Luna back. She stuck out her hand right away and shook on it. I figured that was the last I'd see of her. I even told Linda not to get her hopes up too much because kids make big promises all the time. I was wrong. That same day, she started delivering newspapers at 3:30 every morning, 7 days a week, trudging through the deep snow. After school, she shoveled driveways, helped neighbors with their sled dogs, and did odd jobs for anyone who'd pay her. Some mornings, I'd hear her boots crunching before sunrise and see her crossing the street with a bag bigger than her back. Every few mornings, she'd stop and ask the same thing every time. How's Luna doing? If I told her she chewed a boot or got stuck in a drift, she'd grin like it made her whole day. She never asked me to lower the price. She never asked for more time. About 2 weeks in, Linda told me she had blisters on her hands from shoveling so many driveways in the freezing cold. The next morning, she was still out there with tape wrapped around her palms. A few days later, it was a full blizzard before sunrise, and I watched her trudge through it anyway with a trash bag over the newspapers so they wouldn't get soaked. That was when I stopped seeing her as some kid begging for a puppy. 3 weeks after our handshake, there was another knock at my door at 6 a.m. Emma stood there holding a thick envelope in both hands. She said, "I have it." Her eyes were red from being up since before dawn, but she was smiling so hard she could barely stand still. Inside was $650 in crumpled ones, 5s, and 10s. It smelled like snow and ink. I just stared at her. We'd agreed on $400 in 4 weeks, and she brought the full amount in 3. I asked why. She shrugged and said she wanted me to know she was serious. That was enough for me. I went inside, picked up the little husky female she'd been watching from day one, and carried her out to her. The second she held her, Luna licked her chin and tucked herself into her chest like she already knew her. Before she left, I made her promise one thing. If there ever came a time when she truly couldn't take care of her, she had to bring her back to me. No giving her away, no dropping her somewhere. She looked me in the eye and promised. For the next year and a half, those two were inseparable. I saw her walking her before school, playing fetch after dinner, and sitting in the snow with her head in her lap. Then Linda came over one afternoon crying that Emma's mom was very sick. The bills were piling up, and they had to move south to live with family. The next day, Emma came to my porch with red eyes, and Luna pressed against her leg. She could barely speak. She said she couldn't take her where they were going, and she was there because she'd promised me. I took Luna's leash, and she broke down right there on my steps. I told her when life settled down she should call me. I felt that twist of doubt, wondering if I'd pushed a young girl too far in the cold, but I knew the lesson would stick with her forever. 15 years passed. Luna turned gray around the face and slow in the hips, but she was still here with me through long winters and my own rough patches at the shop. I often wondered if Emma remembered. Then last month I got a call from an unknown number. The voice said, "Mr. Thompson, it's Emma. I'm a teacher now with my own place down south. Is Luna still there?" We talked for 20 minutes, and she told me how that puppy had taught her patience she now used with her students every day. 2 days later, she pulled into my driveway after driving 2 full days. Luna was half asleep by the door until she heard her voice. Her head snapped up. Then she struggled to her feet, started barking, and pulled so hard toward her that I almost lost the leash. Emma dropped to her knees in the driveway, and Luna crashed into her, licking her face while she laughed and cried at the same time. I put her leash in her hand, and neither of them let go. The whole block seemed to pause and watch the moment unfold. Now Linda is saying I was too hard on her for the puppy. Was I wrong?